Who wants Hillary? Who wants Trump? You'll be happy.
GOP presidential hopeful Donald Trump talking a big game while wrapping up his campaigning in Metro Detroit. He gave a speech at the Macomb Community College in Warren this morning. Our Rod Maloney was there, and he is live now with the story. Rod, a big crowd out there.
Well, it was a huge crowd, Sandra. As a matter of fact, there were people trying to get in that couldn't because the fire marshal said there were too many people in the gymnasium. That's where they held it here at Macomb Community College. Donald Trump left this loading dock just about 20 minutes ago and is now on his way to Cadillac. But in his stay here today, he had a lot to say. And he also had a lot of things that were on his mind that are particularly dear to those of us here in Michigan, the auto industry.
My job is, in a sense, I hate to say it, to be greedy. And I'm greedy. I go like this, more. I want more. Now I'm going to be greedy for the United States. I'm going to be really greedy for the United States.
Fresh off his appearance last night at a raucous debate in downtown Detroit, Donald Trump held court for over an hour to a very enthusiastic throng. He gave a meandering discussion of the candidates and politicians he doesn't like, Mitt Romney and Hillary Clinton first among them. He has frustrations and dislike of the media, deep concerns about job loss to places like China and Mexico. He was particularly hard on Ford Motor Company, saying its new plant in Mexico doesn't belong there, and promised to personally get involved in a discussion with Ford leadership to bring that plant and the jobs there back to the United States.
Not presidential, but I'm going to make the call because it's too easy. And they'll say, Mr. President, we're moving back. Would you like him to move to Michigan? I say, yeah, I really want him to move to Michigan. Okay? I want him to move to Michigan.
He bristled at the notion he's not a conservative and listed his credentials strong on the Second Amendment, intends to do away with Common Core and Obamacare. And the crowd loved it all. Pete Roberts of East Point among them.
I think things are really out of control, and I think that there's an economic collapse ready to happen, and I think that he would help us out.
Now, Donald Trump really hit Ford very hard, really let them have it, saying that he wants to slap a 35% tariff or tax on every Ford car coming in out of Mexico from that new plant. He says until he can get that plant back. A very interesting economic notion of how you handle those kinds of trade deficits that he was so decrying. I called over to Ford Motor Company to see if anybody there had anything to say. They didn't have a comment immediately, but I'm told that they will have a statement at some point this afternoon. We'll have that for you when we come back on Local 4 News at 5 and 6. Back to you.
And Rod, we heard a few hecklers. Were there any protesters in the crowd out there?
Well, at the top, you heard him call the guy the Elvis impersonator. There were 5 different protesters that were marched out of the auditorium at varying times. And Donald Trump relished the opportunity to sort of give all of them a hard time, too, saying that for one of them, he said, was the weakest protester he'd ever seen, that the guy just marched out and didn't even give any fight. He says that's not a good way to protest. So he said he had a lot of fun and even asked the crowd at one point after one of the people was walked out, you know, are Trump rallies the best rallies? And of course, the whole crowd erupted to say yes.
Well, certainly it added a little bit of drama there at the start. All right. Thank you so much, Rod.